How are we doing in there? All right, we'll call the Finance Committee meeting to order. Everybody have a chance to take a look at the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
We've got an echo. We have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. The claims in the amount of $4,073,840.41.
Big portion of this is we did pay off a note with our current bonding, so that's going out. We've also got capital and then 5 weeks of bills. Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. This is the one I want to talk about. Replacement patrol rifles. Chief.
Good evening. Looking to purchase 5 replacement patrol rifles. They go into our squad cars. They'll be replacing rifles that have been in our squads for upwards of 20 years. So they're part of the capital improvement plan as replacements for the older rifles.
Is that, how often do they get replaced? I just out of curiosity, I found this one kind of curious.
Yeah, so there's a replacement cycle now. So after 10 years of service, we look to recycle them out.
Okay.
So about 10 years is the goal that we're shooting for.
New technology or?
Just wear and tear. Parts, springs, detents go to bad over time. All of these are used monthly at training, right? So the things get used, they get worn. So instead of replacing all of those internal parts, we try to just cycle them out.
Sure, okay. Is there a market out there for them? Are you able to trade them in? Or?
There is. A lot of them that we keep, we'll keep the good ones that are still good condition. We'll keep as spares in case something happens. We'll also convert some to training arms for simunitions, and then whatever ones we don't want anymore, we'll put out for consignment and sell.
Cool, okay. All right, anybody else? Anything?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Accelerated funding for portable radios. Asking for money, are we, Chief?
Yeah. No tie though.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is coming a little sooner than I would have liked. The radios we're asking to purchase ahead of time or accelerated at is in our capital improvement plan through 2026. So I kind of listed out the reasons why we want to move it up. The biggest thing is we're finding that these radios are failing us. They're 10 years old. The technology has changed. The batteries, we can no longer get these batteries for our current portable radios. We've already got 10 in circulation. I've got 15 on order, which was part of the 24 capital. And we've seen a marked improvement in our ability to communicate with the new radios. And we're finding that we're having a difficult time communicating out inside some of the buildings because of the low wattage of the radios, because the batteries aren't taking full charges anymore. We've tried to source parts for them. We've tried to extend the life of them. They're not made anymore. There's nothing out there that we can purchase to push this out any further. So like I said, it's been in the capital. It's in the capital plan. It's just moving it up. I talked to Mike Johnson about it. He suggested going the route of the undesignated capital. And then because we were going to bond for this anyways, this next bonding period, then you just take that money and pay it back when that happens. So we're just looking to moving it up, ordering 20 radios, and then ordering a repeater that we can put in our new fire engine that's coming. Another issue that we found is the fireground channel that we switched to, which is a local channel. It's basically a walkie-talkie channel. We're not getting the penetration in our buildings. Especially your newer like U-line. We have difficult with that steel and that concrete. So we did a bunch of testing with our vendor. There's a national repeated channel that we can use. we would have to buy the repeater to be able to switch to that channel on the fire ground or emergency scenes to be able to use it. So that's included in this to try to get our communications where they need to be. We're severely behind in where we need to be communication-wise.
This unanimously came out of public safety for the committee, and it was a direct reflection of their safety.
Sure.
And so I will move that we approve.
Second.
Okay, motion and second to approve. Any discussion?
I have a question. I agree completely about the safety. I think the first time I met you, Chief Spielman, we sat down and talked, and you told me already you're concerned about the radios. And it is absolutely critical that they can hear each other, and if something's going on in the building, someone can evacuate if they need to, be notified of what's going on. So I absolutely agree with that. I don't understand the concept of, it seems a little borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. It's okay that we do this, Becky?
I met Becky, but yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Allison.
You have Becky in front of you.
I know. I said, I didn't realize
Do
it
I
was
have your name
changed.
taken?
It's okay.
I'm sorry, of course I know you, Allison.
I know, I'm teasing, I'm
Embarrassing.
sorry.
I read your name. The idea that
We
we,
can prepay for
Move the
stuff, and then
funds.
we just have to disclose that we are going to reimburse ourselves
Sure.
for it when we do the actual bonding.
just do a documentation of that.
Yep.
It's in the file. Okay?
Yep, I'll actually
Thank you.
put it, I'll get a code assigned so that it's already assigned to the new bonding. So then when we run those numbers, when we do it, we have it all set up to say, this is what we're reimbursing.
Okay, thank you, Allison, for explaining that. Embarrassing. Thank you, that was my only comment.
All right, so we have a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved.
Then this,
The use of grant donation to purchase air monitoring equipment.
yeah, so this time I'm not asking for money, I'm asking to spend some money that we took in. But, so recently we created a donations a line in our budget, or in our ledger for the fire department. So we have a place to take donation money in, and we have a record of where it's being spent and everything. So this is something new I worked with Allison on. So we applied for a grant through Marathon Oil this spring for $5,000, and we were awarded the grant a couple weeks ago. It specifically was for air monitoring equipment that we would take to carbon monoxide calls, gas leaks, stuff like that, and just asking to use that money to go towards the purchase of what we wrote the grant for.
Cool. Okay.
Move to approve. Second?
Motion and second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Discussion and possible action on the bids for City Hall stairs reconstruction project.
I'll take this one, Mr. Mayor. So we recently held a bid opening to replace the front entryway of City Hall. In the issue sheet, the base bid is to replace the stairs with an ADA accessible ramp and staircase. The low bid from Lift Bridge Builders was $201,472.63. The alternate that you see on the issue sheet is just to replace the stairs, okay? So you can see those amounts as well. Again, Lift Bridge Builders was the lowest bid that came in, $117,900.70. So this was discussed at Public Works Committee, and it was unanimous to forward it on to Finance for discussion. The reason being is we are short money in the CIP. So our current CIP budget, minus the design fees, we have $72,525 remaining in the CIP. So if we were to go with the base bid, we're short $128,000 and change, $128,000 and change. If we go for the stairs, we're short $45,000 and change. So either way, we're looking at, whether we proceed with this project, we're going to have to find monies to cover that difference. Now, I did speak with Allison, and see, now I'm looking at the, I'm like, so I asked Allison to maybe just speak on where some of those funds may be available to float that difference, but just obviously just want to open up for discussion to see if it's a viable project to move forward with. The other option is obviously to just reject the bid and then put more money in the CIP this next go around and rebid it in the future. So,
Mr. Mayor, could I
Yes.
make a comment? Thank you.
Yep.
The Public Works Committee did discuss this. It's a project that has been mentioned, a year and a half at least. I believe it was included in the CIP planning, again, at the $80,000 mark. Of course, we all know that prices have gone up, construction costs, salaries, et cetera, payroll for their staff. But one of the issues is, with further reflection, the city staff was recommending that we have a ramp so that it's easy access for any individual, whether they have an identified handicap or accessibility issue, or just for ease of approaching our building. The steps themselves are kind of embarrassing right now because they are breaking down. It's a historic building, and it costs money to keep it up. So that is partly why you can see such a different scope. The staff did ask when we were seeking bids, they asked for it to bid just on the stairs and then also the ramp. Last summer, I'm sure you're aware of the fact that we had discussion about, we had two different design ideas. We have hired that engineering design and came up with one that Public Works approved, I think in July, and the full council approved in September. So the design was approved, but again, the planning on the CIP doesn't match what we now would like to do. I am anxious to hear about the ideas. I was the one that asked Public Works to consider waiting. Now, there is sort of a courtesy window of time that if a construction company makes a bid, that we try to get back to them and say, yes or no, you won the bid or not. And usually that's
30 days.
30 days. So we're already past that time period. But I thought it was worth further discussion. One of the things for me that's come to my attention in talking with Becky Egan, our city clerk who runs our elections, that's why I'm looking at your name here and thinking of her, is how much in and out of the building they need to do when they're running an election. And of course, it's a presidential year, so there's going to be a lot of people that are coming in. If I'm not mistaken, what's called the in-person early voting time period is when it's most difficult for our staff because they don't have their regular volunteer election workers here. But they have a lot of people showing up at City Hall wanting to vote. So if someone comes and they're not able to get in the building as easily, that puts a big burden on the staff getting around. I know Becky's here. Do you want to come up and tell us how you manage that scenario when people come? If you don't mind, thank you, Becky, taking over the meeting. Sorry, Rich.
Happens all the
I
time, Joy.
think we need to just hear the reasoning. Thank you.
Good evening. So in-person absentee voting is 9 days prior to an election. So with the current handicap parking stall in the parking lot, for them to get up here, there's a sign that says, come over here to Walnut Street. So I can tell you that it's not one or two voices coming in. So it's either, if we have to go do a curbside voting, that requires 2 staff members to go and help them curbside vote. So they usually get up here. We have extra signage up here by the steps to direct them around the building. However, then they got to get back out to the sidewalk and go around. So it is an issue with handicap accessibility. And then the ramp, we have signage downstairs to get them upstairs. And it's just not workable. It's a lot of extra work on staff. For presidential, we will have election workers in here helping out with the in-person voting because it is very heavy foot traffic for 9 days. So as a clerk side of it in elections, yes, a ramp would be, if you're gonna look into the steps, I would say it is very much a nuisance for the handicap with no ramp here.
And is it correct that these are state laws that you're following? It's not just an
Yes,
idea.
and the
So
state is coming
curbside-
down, and we do get inspected. So, even my polling
Yes.
places, like Methodist Church, we're working with them to try and get a ramp because we're off like 9 inches on the curb.
So that's,
If they come in here, we're gonna get it. We're gonna be, if they audit, I don't know.
so that's a state agency that's checking for
Correct.
ADA
Yep.
accessibility.
So I'm not following that part exactly. I understand the state can come in and inspect, but we do have an option, whereas Methodist
Correct.
Church may not.
So it's just the logistics
No,
of
I
it.
understand that,
Yeah.
but
yes.
I'm just gonna play devil's advocate
Yep.
for a moment. I'm not advocating anything here. There are a couple questions I have on this. First of all, I would think unless we're grandfathered, if we're doing any type of maintenance out here, replacing something under ADA, isn't it automatic that we have to make it accessible? Or are we grandfathered because we're not doing anything other than replacing the existing?
Correct.
That's it?
Okay.
Okay. And then second, it would seem that you could put signage out on the streets everywhere, that for accessibility purposes for voting, come around the corner, it's over here, instead of having people going out and talking to them and directing.
And we do. I mean, we do the best we can, but lately, this for April, it was windy. Those signs didn't stay up very well. So we're doing our best. We're out there checking it, and, you know, there's a number on the door down there to call if they need us. They get that in their instructions. So it's not that we're not trying to be proactive about it to get them around to Walnut. It's just when they park in that stall in the parking lot, they don't read that sign, even though it's right in front of them.
Well, I would put it out on the sidewalk as
So we
well.
do.
I mean,
We have the handicap
and
sign with
because not everybody's
we
gonna
have
park in-
arrows. We have the Walnut Street sign go around to Walnut. It's with the elevator. We have the signs downstairs.
So with curbside voting, anyone has the right to request that, is that
Correct.
correct? And so two people have to go because you have to witness that
Correct.
you're not unduly influencing the person that's voting.
Yeah. So usually we make sure they come around and they're down here.
Yeah. And so then you and another staff person would
Correct.
go.
And we have ran into the issue too where they are parked down here and there's only one handicap stall down there. So I have people on the side of the street or I'll have someone out here on the parking lot. So it's phone calls, trying to get them. And it's not like every day, all day, there's 5 people lined up to
But that
be,
doesn't-
but the one parking spot down there has been an issue.
But again, so we put the ramp in, it doesn't solve that parking issue.
No, but they can come right in the
we
front
still have
door
the
versus
same
having,
issue.
I know.
And with curbside parking, is it only people with accessibility problems that can request it, or can anybody request it?
Anyone can.
Yeah. And how many people do you think request that don't have an accessibility issue?
You know, it's usually, I don't know, in the 9 days, I'd say we probably do 8 to 10. Presidential will be more
8 to 10 over the course of the 9
over
days?
the course of the 9 days.
Sure. People that are worried about infectious disease, things like that, I suppose.
Yeah, well,
could be.
yeah, 2020, it was
Right.
That was
Yeah.
every car that
Very
came here,
difficult.
but, so, I mean, it's workable, we're doing it, we've been doing it. It's just, I feel the more signs you put up there to direct them around, the less they see,
The more
too.
they call you.
Yeah, yeah. But,
Thank you, Becky. And
Yep.
just to summarize, Public Works Committee did feel that if we were going to do anything, we should do it all and do it right, rather than just doing the stairs. So that was our feeling, but we wanted to bring it to the finance and to the whole council, because obviously the funding is not in place to
So where
do
would
that.
the additional 83, 84,000 come from?
More than that, it's 128.
Right.
Where are they cut, well,
Undesignated capitals are the first.
so that would be my thought. Having watched you guys' Public Works meeting, guys, you all came up with great points, and it is the face of the city walking in here. Let's do it right the first time. And I say we take up to 130,000 due to whatever out of the contingency. And that's a motion.
Okay, so you're proposing that we do the whole thing?
Yes.
Second,
Yep.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. So, and the things that I was asking, I just was curious about these. I think that, I hate to see that iconic look of the front of our building go away, but it kind of did in the storm. And, but at the same time, I think, and I want to be consistent, and this is what I've believed in all along and continue to believe in, that we need to make government as accessible as possible. So it's not even to me that if we're going to do it, let's just do it all at the same time. It's that we need to make government accessible. I argued that all through COVID, and I will continue to argue that. So I would support this. Frankly, I think it's the right thing, the appropriate thing to do for accessibility, access to government, not just.
absolutely, because there might be residents who want to come to our council meetings.
Right.
Especially dark at night, and how am I going to navigate those stairs so that we just give a feeling of being able to come into the building a little
Yeah.
easier,
Okay.
so.
Joyce, anything? You look like you're.
No, okay, so then the cost of the project will be 201,472.63?
Correct.
Okay.
This is 130.
I'm just saying
Right.
barring up to, in case there's some kind of
Change, yeah.
something, change order, or if Mike wants to put a flower pot to gussy it up.
Right.
Just want to make sure I've got the right number in there. Make sure you're covered.
And that's out of says undesignated
Undesignated
capital.
capital is what I have it listed
Line
as.
one. I didn't know if we had, I see the ARPA, American Rescue Plan was listed. Is there anything remaining?
We have about 40, a little over 40-some thousand that's sitting in there that was just designated to public works projects.
Sure.
So as some of the projects come and just have small things left, that's where they're being moved to.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action to approve the Bella Rose Playground design and authorize the purchase of the playground equipment, shelter, and fencing in the amount of $192,500.
All right, so this is the Bella Rose development by the new Quick Trip on the north side of town. As part of the developer's agreement, the city was to develop a parcel of land that we acquired during that development and turn it into a park, a neighborhood park, complete with like a playground, some green space, so on and so forth. The city did collect park impact fees for that development to help put towards the construction of that playground. So I did reach out to a company that we've done work with over the years who is a part of a national procurement agency that gets kind of similar to our state bid that we have here in Wisconsin. And so it's Minnesota Wisconsin Play. They updated their name. It's Minnesota Wisconsin Playground Recreation. So anyways, kind of went back and forth with design between them and the park board. Kind of settled on a playground structure, pour in place, rubber surface, and a shelter, and then fencing it off just for safety of the children next to the busy intersection there. So the total came to $192,250. That does not include the concrete work, which we'll do in-house. In the park dedication fees, which is where the impact fees go, we have $261,726.71, so more than enough to cover that installation of that playground equipment. So came out of park board, recommended approval.
So those were designated fees, correct?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion second to approve. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action to approve the proposals from Cross Anderson to provide CMAR services for the police and public works facility renovations.
All right, so in front of all of you should be an 11 by 17 sheet of paper. If you want to turn that over, that'll kind of summarize the proposals that we received. So in total, we received 5 proposals, each for the public works facility and the police facility. The same companies gave proposals on each facility. And so what we did was there was a group of us, myself, Mike Johnson, Chief Willems, and David Gray. We sat down and reviewed all the proposals and kind of laid out a summary of what each firm was giving. So as you can see, we kind of based our recommendation. Ultimately what we were recommending is to move and proceed with Crouse Anderson for this work. And you'll see the reasons on your summary sheet. So this hasn't been made public out of respect to the other companies that gave proposals. But I just wanted to give a summary to the Finance Committee just to kind of support our recommendation. So the CM fee, obviously the first column, Crouse Anderson was low, but tied for the lowest. There is an asterisk in their proposal, which I did include in the issue sheet. If they weren't selected for both facilities, in only one, their fee would be 2%. If they were to receive both facilities, they would reduce that down to 1.75. Okay. The construction schedule, obviously, they are half of what all the other companies were proposing. I did reach out to them to just confirm that is a correct timeline, right? And they did reassure that based on the scope of their understanding that would be able to be met. All right. So that was one of the biggest questions that I had for them. Lastly, the previous experience. Obviously, any one of the companies could do the jobs that we're asking them to do. Obviously, some of them, specialize more in public safety. Some of them specialize more in public works facilities. Crouse Anderson has a good mix of both. They also did the Hudson High School renovation a couple of years ago, and David Gray had a good experience with them. So based on those, core principles or core things that we were looking at, that committee is recommending we move ahead with Crouse Anderson to be the construction manager for our renovations of our both facilities.
For the general public, what is the time frame?
So if we were to approve this tonight, we were looking at more than likely 2 to 3 months of design and specifications. Probably bidding out in July, contract signed in August, probably looking at, groundwork or feet on the ground probably September, October this fall. So then you're probably looking at October, November, December, January, February, probably a good timeline to get the departments in those buildings.
Okay.
One nice thing is that a lot of times construction costs go up in the winter, but since this is inside an existing building,
Yeah.
I'm sure they're calculating that they can work,
Correct.
keep their crews going
Yeah,
through
I-
the winter on this kind of project.
Yeah, especially with the police department, a majority of that work is inside.
Okay. So are the two projects tied to each other at this point in terms of pacing, or what do you think about that?
We're gonna try and do our best to marry them so that we're kind of on the same timeline. Obviously, one of the facilities, being the police department, is probably a little more complex with the renovations, so it's probably gonna take maybe a little longer for the plans and specifications. So as that architect and the construction management firm work through those things, we'll obviously progress as we see fit for the public works facility. So there might be a little bit of difference, but I don't see a huge difference in operational timelines and getting those facilities online.
Did you address with them if it would affect one another as they're building? Did they feel pretty confident they have the staff, the crews?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're more than capable of handling both projects. Absolutely.
because there was concern early on that we didn't want it, one affecting the other.
Correct.
As far as getting in there.
Yeah, and that's a good question but yeah, they reassure, you're looking at the St. Croix County Highway Maintenance Facility, that's 140,000 square feet, so that's like 3 of the public works buildings out there. So, they're large, they're scaled for these large projects for sure.
Okay.
And we're getting good, on the flip side, we're getting good pricing because they're both in town, right?
Right.
Move to approve?
A second.
Motion is second to approve, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Review and approve bid from Haas Sons, Inc. in the amount of $1,729,927.56 for the 2024 street improvements project. Aaron, how
Hi.
are you?
Aaron McPhee Anderson, city engineer. So this is an exciting item, for me at least. So this was our 2024 street improvement project. We opened bids last Tuesday at 10 a.m. We did online bidding. And this is to reconstruct Green Street and Vine Street from Diamond Drive to Wisconsin Street. And we received 4 bids, which is great. I have kind of the summary of all the bids. We added an alternative to do some pond clean out. So more of a maintenance project of the entire pond at the southeast corner of Vine and Diamond. So we just did that as an alt just in case it was too high and we went over. So Haas Sons was the low bidder for the base bid and also base bid plus alt 1. And so the engineer's estimate was over that, so that's good. And then exciting news is that we received word that we got 2 grants from the state. So we just received word last week, it became official. We got the SMAs with the state. So for Green Street, we actually got a small amount, $20,963.78. And then for Vine Street, which was more of a competitive grant, we got $668,075. So both of that will go towards the funding.
Nice job.
Yeah. So
Can we clap?
we also, for the 2023 and 2024 infrastructure funds, was a little over 2 million. With the water, sanitary, and special assessments, we have a little over $3 million funds available. And with the construction bid plus our engineering so far, and then just what we estimate going into construction, is $2,035,894.56. So we have about $1 million in excess funds because of the grant dollars. So we'll be discussing that, at probably the next Public Works meeting, how we want to handle that extra money. And so the recommended action is to approve the bids for the low bidder Haas Sons in the amount of $1,729,927.56.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion second to approve, discussion?
Just, I do have a little green on, just in case. That's the last time I'll say
Just a
that.
little?
Yeah, but one serious question.
Yeah.
With those folks that have done those aprons and the sidewalks up there,
Mm-hmm.
is there a time frame that they need to be aware of yet?
They'll get letters when the public hearing for the assessments will be.
Okay.
So they'll get notified between 10 and 40 days before the public hearing. So that'll kind of be their chance to, yep.
I have a question on the timing.
Yeah.
Of course, Vine Street is such an important corridor for students.
Yes.
Back and forth to middle school and high school. So how do we have that structured? Is there an incentive for them to get done on time, or what?
Yep.
How's that laid out?
Yeah, we did put an incentive in the contract documents, so we also gave them a disincentive technically for not starting on time. So we kind of gave them 2 weeks after school is out to start, and if they don't start, they're gonna start getting charged, just to make sure they kind
Good.
of get moving. And then also, if they do finish, we put 1 or 2 weeks before school, we did like a $10,000 just lump sum incentive if they get done before a certain date.
Okay, great.
Yep.
And
so-
thank you for the work on the grant writing.
Yeah.
That's exciting, very happy. That's always very helpful.
Yeah,
Get
it's
some
pretty
funding.
straightforward. Maverick pretty much did it online, so
Great.
I'll give him the credit for writing
That's
it.
wonderful. Appreciate it.
I'm sorry, did you say when Green Street was starting?
That's gonna be a little more flexible, we put in the contract, just because it, so we haven't talked to them yet. Once we reach out to the contractor, get the pre-construction meeting, we'll know more about what they're thinking for how they wanna like phase the two projects.
Great.
Moved, I'm seconded. No, I moved. You seconded.
Okay.
I moved.
That's correct.
We have a
All
motion.
right, so we have a motion and a second? Is that correct?
Yep.
Everybody's- Yep, okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Thank you, Aaron. I don't have anything. Anybody?
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. We stand adjourned. Running a little bit late. We'll give it a couple minutes and we'll get started with the council meeting. Did Mike come in? All right, we will call the city council meeting to order. Everybody stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, take the roll.
Mayor O'Connor.
Here.
Morissette.
Here.
Wakefield. Here. Knutson.
Here.
Kennedy.
Here.
Ruck. Here. Hall.
Here.
All right, we have citizen comments up. This is your opportunity to come to the podium, identify yourself and your address, and comment on anything that is an issue before the city that is not on tonight's agenda. Having said that, please try to keep your comments brief. Try not to repeat other people's comments. I think that's it. Does anybody have a comment?
I do. Bill Fehrenbach, 10001 6th Street in Hudson. I'm also a member of Hudson Daybreak Rotary and the Environmental Committee. I came to you a couple months ago asking for a proclamation for No Mow May, as well as pledging to pursue the production of yard signs to help promote that. So first of all, I want to thank you for the proclamation of No Mow May, which I see in the minutes happened. And then I want to tell you that I followed through. And just as there was not unanimous support for the proclamation here, there wasn't unanimous support in Rotary for the whole concept. But we pledged that the idea here was education. So I believe this is educational. It's not telling anybody to do anything. It's simply identifying that the landscape that may not have its grass cut is doing this to protect pollinators. So it hopefully will spark some conversations among neighbors, and nobody will have any hard feelings, and it'll just be a good thing for the community. So I also spoke with the library director, and she has agreed to allow the library to be a pickup point for the signs. And I'll leave some here for anybody who wants them. I didn't put the yard stakes in that many of them because I kind of figured this population in particular might have a few yard stakes in your garages somewhere. So but I do have some with that. And I also wanted to tell you in terms of the education component, we did do a program at Rotary a week and a half ago maybe. Danielle Vogler Boston did that, but Rotary is hosting a district event in Hudson on Friday, May 3rd, or the whole weekend, but on Friday, May 3rd from 5 to 6:30 at the Carpenter Nature Center. We'll be doing a pollinator program, and hopefully, if the weather is good, we'll do a pollinator walk through their prairie paths. So I think that is it. So there they are.
All right, excellent, thank you.
Leave them over here. Do you think I should leave any here, like bring some back tomorrow, or is the library good enough?
I would leave a couple here.
Okay. Can I leave them in?
Yep, and I can drop off whatever's left at the library.
Okay. I'll just leave them here then. Thanks.
Thanks, Bill.
Yep.
Good evening, Mayor.
Any other comments? I'm sorry.
You couldn't resist, could you? So
No, I
it's okay, Mayor. And good evening. I'm Mary Claire Olson-Potter, President of the Hudson Chamber, and I'm just here to give you a few brief updates this evening. Checking to see if any of you are nacho aficionados. Anybody like nachos? Okay, welcome back to the second nacho battle that's going to take place. You like nachos? Excellent, excellent. Okay, so to help drive businesses to, or guests to the business to the restaurants, visit 12 of Hudson's tastiest food stops that have entered the battle that will be held between April 28th and May 7th, and you can crunch, consider, and cast your vote. So you'll find a list of the participating restaurants on the website. And also, we're celebrating Small Business Week, April 28th through the 4th, and want to publicly thank all the small businesses and their owners for their innovation, resilience, and critical contribution to the economic growth of this community and the county. And we've had several new businesses that have opened in Hudson, and we are so excited to welcome them to our area. The Hudson Community Expo will be held on Sunday, May 5th from 11 to 3:30 at Hudson High School. Last year, we welcomed over 1,600 visitors to that event. We have 80 businesses and organizations that will be showcased there, in addition to the 40 crafters with Coco's Heart Craft Sale, and then there's live entertainment and great food options, so we would love to see you up there. National Tourism Week is May 19th through the 25th, and we thank all the lodging properties and businesses who work every day to welcome visitors and guests to our community. We are in the final stages of doing a refresh of the Discover Hudson website. In 2023, we had over 93,000 visitors to the combined local and tourism website, which is an increase of 7.5 from 2022. So we need to continue to make it fresh. A new page added that was to host an event in Hudson with all the resources for sporting, business, and weddings. So that is new on the site that you can see that. In addition, to date, we've mailed out over 582 tourism packets, that's just since January, to people interested in visiting Hudson, and that's leads from ads that we've placed and also people checking out our website, requesting information, and calling in. So several of us from Hudson went to the Governor's Tourism Conference in March, and the excitement for travel remains strong. Some people are concerned about spending money traveling very far, so we're fortunate that we're a great destination that people can get to easily. And again, travelers are looking for restaurants and dining, shopping. They love to interact with local people. Outdoor, we're already seeing folks enjoying the new floating docks, which is great, and historic locations. So, as you know, Hudson will be another busy summer, and we're excited about that and to welcome visitors, guests. And I just want to thank you for your help and partnership and look forward to our continued work together. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary Claire.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Any comments? Any comments? Any comments? Hearing none, close that portion of the agenda. Next up, we have a new municipal judge coming in, and swearing in is going to be the Honorable Sue Garrity. Perhaps your last official...
My last official act.
Excellent. Come on up.
So
Where do you want to do it?
Schaefer. She was elected. This is Randy Morissette, and Lynn Wakefield, and Joy Knudsen, and Michael Gross, and Judge, or Mayor O'Connor. Mr. Vivian, Becky Egan is the clerk, and Mr. Kennedy, Sarah Bush, and Jess Hall. Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet all of you.
Nice to meet you. To have you.
Pleasure to have you. Oh.
Kyle, one by lamp.
Can we just-
Yeah.
All right, would you raise your right hand, please? I, Kyle Schaefer,
I, Kyle Schaefer,
having been duly elected
having been duly elected
to the office of municipal judge
to the office of municipal judge
for the city of Hudson,
for the city of Hudson,
but have not yet
but have not yet
entered upon the duties thereof,
entered upon the duties thereof,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the state of Wisconsin,
of the state of Wisconsin,
that I will administer justice
that I will administer justice
without respect to persons,
without respect to persons,
and will faithfully and impartially
and will faithfully and impartially
execute the duties of this said office
execute the duties of this said office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Kyle. Thank you for doing this. And Sue, it's been great working with you here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your service to the community.
To be the municipal judge for the city of Hudson for all these years. And I really appreciated the support of the councils and the mayors and the police department and the department heads and the entire community for supporting me for all those years. So thank you all.
It's been great having you serve us.
Thank you.
next up, we have Arbor Days coming. We have a proclamation. Whereas trees are among Hudson's most beautiful natural resources and bestow fine opportunities for aesthetic appreciation, as well as improvements for our homes and public lands, and are indispensable to our ecology as providers of wildlife habitat, erosion control, and air filters. And whereas Hudson has been named a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation for 14 years in recognition of the outstanding efforts by the city and its residents to provide the legal basis, financial investment, and community participation to support an ongoing program to plant, nurture, and routinely maintain and restore their canopy of trees. And whereas the demands on our environment and our environmental resources necessitate an increased awareness of ecological values, as well as an individual commitment to the study and appreciation of trees and their maintenance. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Rich O'Connor, do hereby proclaim Friday, April 26th and Saturday, April 27th, 2024 as Arbor Days in the city of Hudson, and call upon all citizens to participate in the Arbor Day celebration and continue to support and protect our trees and woodlands. Okay, so thank you for that. And do you have anything to say?
I do have one thing to add. Obviously, it's very important, more now than ever, with emerald ash borer in the city of Hudson. We're seeing a lot of ash trees being removed, so encouraging residents to plant trees in their yards. If they do want to plant in the boulevard, obviously reach out to my office, get an application to plant just to make sure you're not planting over utility lines or underneath power lines. And then the other thing that I will say is if you do want to help plant some trees, we are gathering this Saturday at Grandview Park starting at 9 o'clock. Myself and the members of the Hudson Urban Forestry Board are going to be planting 30 trees that were donated via the Daybreak Rotary Bear Root Tree Sale. So we're getting together at 9, probably from 9 o'clock till 10 o'clock to plant 30 trees. So anybody from the public that wants to come out and help plant a tree, feel free to show up, and we have all the supplies ready, and we'll plant some trees on Arbor Day.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's great. All right, next up, consent agenda.
Approve the meeting minutes from the March 18th regular council meeting, the March 19th and 25th special council meeting, and the April 16th organizational meeting. Approve claims in the amount of $4,073,840.41. Approve accelerated funding for portable radios. Approve replacement patrol rifles. Approve fit real estate fundraiser. Approve Rotary Taste of the Valley event. Approve a certified survey map of 1221 9th Street, Terrell Gaffer. Approve the 2025-2029 refuse and recycling RFP. Approve use of grant donation to purchase air monitoring equipment. Approve the infield renovations request by Hudson Booster at Burton Park. Approve the 2024 Lakefront Park concessions agreement between St. Croix Snack Shack and the City of Hudson. Approve the Hudson Library's proposal to install a solar system walk at Lakefront Park. Approve the memorial application from the Hudson Home and Garden Club. Approve the request from Hudson Boosters to add signage and a flagpole in Grandview Park. Approve the Bella Rose playground design and authorize the purchase of the playground equipment, shelter, and fencing in the amount of $192,500. Approve the renovations to the Boy Scout statue located at Lakefront Park. Approve the proposals from Kraus Anderson to provide CMAR services for the police and public work facility renovations. Approve the Star Observer as the official newspaper. Approve a bid from Hudson's Incorporated in the amount of $1,729,927.56 for the 2024 street improvement project. And authorize staff to apply the Federal Recreational Trail Grants Program for Lakefront Park trails.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve. Roll call.
Morissette?
Yes.
Wakefield?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Brooke?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Motion's approved. Consent agenda is approved. Resolution 15-24, City of Hudson Title VI ADA Non-Discrimination Plan for Hudson Public Transit. Everybody going to take this? This is,
Edwin on?
Yeah, I think Edwin, can you hear us, Edwin?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. I can go home now.
The voice.
One job.
The Title VI ADA plans are required by anyone receiving Federal Transit Administration funds. The plan you have in front of you is based on a template which is provided by the state, which they know will satisfy the Federal Transit Administration requirements. And it's pretty straightforward. It's boilerplate. There's basically what the dedication is to not discriminating on the basis of protected areas, a method of if someone feels that they have been discriminated against, a method for them to request a review of that, the procedure for what happens if someone does file a complaint, appeals processes, if they feel like the city hasn't dealt with it, basically contact information at the federal level. My experience with this is that in these small shared ride taxi programs, the level of complaints is very low, but it's a, for instance, in Chippewa Falls, I don't think it's happened in the 3 years I've been associated with working with them. So, but it is a requirement, and it's, like I said, it's pretty much cut and dried boilerplate. So if there are any questions, I'd
Anybody?
be willing to.
Should the contact information be changed that has Mike Johnson as interim city administrator?
Well, he will be for a while yet, so.
Oh, I didn't know if we wanted to have an additional for that form to be turned in.
To a certain extent, as far as the contacts are concerned, it's a living document, and it will be updated. It's posted on the website, and it's available for distribution. And those contact data will be updated as it's appropriate.
Thank you.
I have been contacted by some constituents in regards to the customer service of and I know this is somewhat germane to this, but I think we need to put them on notice that they need to work on their customer service. I don't know if you've heard it in your office.
I have not, no, not yet.
I had intended to get them in here pretty soon anyway.
Okay.
There are a couple things that we need to do with them, and we were waiting, actually kind of waiting on Mike to come up with the information that he sent out last week.
Okay.
And waiting now for him to get back into town, and we'll start talking about this.
Okay.
Okay? Anybody?
I'll move to adopt the resolution, or do we need to suspend the rules? Because I have no idea anymore.
Not on the resolutions, you're good on resolutions.
On ordinance.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and second to approve the resolution. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Thanks, Edwin.
Thank you so much.
Discussion and possible action on the bids for City Hall stairs reconstruction project.
Yeah, so I put this on the new business, just so that everybody has a chance to discuss it. Obviously, most of you here when this was discussed at Finance Committee. Obviously, open to any questions that you may have and go from there.
Anybody that missed the discussion?
Do we have to change anything since during the finance committee, it said up to 130,000? Do we need to add that in there as part of the,
That's the motion.
doesn't say that?
Yeah, that was in the motion at Finance.
Okay, I just wasn't.
So
clear,
we'll make a motion again and vote on it here. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So move the same amount, 130, up to 130 from undesignated funds.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. So, I don't have anything. Anybody?
One thing, if we can put on the next agenda, is a sound complaint or noise complaint up in the Stone Creek in the hockey arena area.
Yeah, I got that as well.
Okay.
So, and,
I just want to put it down on the record so that we talk about it.
right, okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Motion?
Move to adjourn?
Second.
We have motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. We stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody.